Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Monday, the 23rd of October, 2017. How is everybody doing? How was your weekend? I hope that wherever you are well. Took time to rest, to reflect, to prepare for a whole new chapter, a whole new week of experiences that have been time released for you to validate, to motivate, and keep you keeping on. I hope that you're well, family. I really am, because, you know, this morning, uh, before I was going to put this video out, and I'm going to throw this disclaimer out because I got my coffee. I do. I'm drinking some Verona bean. I'm just waiting for it to be done. But over this weekend, I don't know, some of y'all, wherever you live at, you able to get Bounce TV. And on the weekends, they play a lot of urban, some know it as black exploitation movies. And the one thing that I found myself as of late is that I find myself looking at movies that had came out when I was younger. And it wasn't for the comical aspect of it. I always would listen to what the dialogue, what was the conversation, and try to pull the jewels out of, yes, I know. I know somebody right off the bat like, well, Gerald, there was a lot of exploitation going on that put the minorities in a certain light, as well as there was a lot of things that were being presented. Because let's be honest, movies, media is really nothing but a tool to stimulate your state of mind or validate the mindset that you have. And the reason why I'm putting this out there, because if I happen to discover that one of the classic movies put out in the early 70s was Superfly. Well, what I did not know was there was another Superfly movie, and it was called TNT. And the character was a known drug dealer that through his travels, through his challenges, ultimately he wanted to find himself. And through these escapades, he would always tap into some wisdom. And the reason I'm saying that, because it also let me see some of the movie legends that we've come to know when they were young. And one of the characters on this movie was actor Robert Guillaume. Some of you may know him from TV syndication of a show called Benson. And that movie, it was filmed out of Rome, but part of it was in Africa. And there was a scene where the two characters meet. And Robert Guillaume's character in the conversation had alluded that he had not been home, referring to the United States, in quite some time. So he wanted to know what is going on. What's going on with the social climate? And what surprised me, what really surprised me, was the content of what Ron O'Neal's character, who was Superfly, and what he had said. If you didn't know when the movie was made and just listen to the dialogue that was exchanged between both those characters, you would think that he was talking about what's going on today. So this morning, piddling around in the house, it was placed on my heart to put this video out because still, 2017, we still have not mastered or made progress in our individual desires. And I say that because you always hear me echo at least once or twice, sometimes 3 times, or what it needs to be conveyed. Because I'm trying to reach the intended heart, intended mind. Do you know who you are? And that is something that a lot of times we just sweep under the rug. We just sweep it over because we're basing it off the state of mind that we have at the moment. May it be positive, may it be negative, but that's the reference point. And as I started to think about it, it made me think about this. The greatest lesson, the greatest education that you'll ever embrace will not be found in a collegiate hall. It will not be found in your general education or your progression through your general educational goals. Your greatest lesson is found looking back at you every morning, every night, asking the question emotionally, when you gonna give me what I need? Who am I talking to? And when I was thinking about that, it made me think about that old commercial that used to run about, I'd say about 3, 4 years ago. You know what I'm talking about. There would be a brother, he'd come on the screen, and he would more or less proverbially bang the gong with the intent of, what are you doing? What you waiting on? And then as those commercials would always be played 24/7, they got more intense, got more in your face. You ain't doing nothing. You're just sitting there on the couch. Why don't you pick up the call? Pick up the phone and make the call. And we would always laugh about that. But when you thought about it, he was trying to reach the intended heart, intended mind. Now, we don't know who that guy was, that actor that signed on to do those commercials. But what we can agree upon was the intent was to motivate you for change. Now, I know somebody right now, you have this mindset of, you ain't talking to me, Gerald. You don't understand what I see. You don't understand what makes my environment. You can't fathom to understand the dynamics that is in my surroundings. Oh yeah, I can. And I know that significantly for one thing. You woke up today, didn't you? So that means the job still is not done. Please give me a second, family. My coffee is done, and it's time for me to fill up this cup. Appreciate you, family. Appreciate your patience. Don't you hate it when you, for those who are drinking coffee, and you got everything laid out and don't realize you didn't overfill the darn thing, and then it's pouring, and then it come out. Yeah, I had a little spill. I had to take care of that. So to get back to what I was saying, we allow ourselves to get distracted from the things that are truly dear and important to us. It tends to, as time progresses, the priority fades. But then, like Cat Williams, the comedian, said, he's like, well, you know what, Jared? Well, he didn't say Jared, but he said, if you're doing right, you're going to always attract haters. You're going to always have those who are envious. You're going to always have criticism. But guess what? The worst criticism you're going to ever obtain, it's not going to come from the people that are you're associated with. They're not going to come from the people that you're related to. It's not going to come with the people you just happen to come in contact. Greatest criticism you're going to come to embrace is yours. Because we already know that inside that beautiful mind, oh, that beautiful mind, nobody can break you down more than you. So if this is where you are, let me ask you this. If you already know what you need and honestly can discern what is a want, what's keeping you from obtaining it? Because you don't need permission to be you. And I say that very compassionately because when things don't turn your way, you conveniently adjust so that you find comfort in whatever that delay is, man, right? So why won't you be able to embrace what makes you uncomfortable and make that your motivation? In other words, what I'm trying to convey to you is this. Stop worrying about who is your competition and start focusing on who matters most. That's you. You are the keeper of your dreams. No one's going to know your dreams if you do not release them to the world. You realize how many people have God-given talents? Just as you breathing in that precious air, got God-given talent, but they will not release them to the world. No one will know. And the reason for that is fear. You know, fear. Finally, everything's a reality. But we will convince ourselves, well, maybe this is who I am. This is the best it's going to be. This is the scenario that I am required to embrace. Well, let me explain something to you. Well, let me ask you this first. It's the 23rd of October, 2017, correct? I know I'm talking to somebody. And you may feel right now life is not as you wish it to be, right? Well, let me ask you this. Where were you October 23rd, 2012? What were you doing October 23rd, 2014? What was occurring October 23rd, 2016? So that right there should be your validation that your dreams are within your grasp. But you have to sacrifice. Did you hear me? You're going to have to sacrifice. And that sacrifice may be, but your greatest sacrifice, really, you contribute to that every day when you choose not to give yourself what you rightfully need. When you accept the consolation prize. Now, I'm not trying to make light, but let's look at this from an athletic standpoint. It's your race. So if it's your race to run, referring to your life, why aren't you prepared? Because the truth of the matter is, the person that wins, they focus on, because they're the flavor of the month right now. And there'll be others. There'll be others. But the truth of the matter is, nobody's checking for that person that is coming across the finish line, and they are the last person. But little do you know, maybe that person that was the last person, the goal was to finish. I'll do one better. You turn on social media, you look at mass media, but especially in social media, you always hear the same thing. Why don't I have the money that I believe I deserve? Why do I not look the way that I feel? And why am I not positioned where I feel I deserve to be? Now, this is not about race. This is not about gender. This is about application. I'll do one better because I think somebody really needs to hear this. How would you like to guarantee sustaining your life another 20 years? Would you listen? Would you entertain what I'm about to tell you? Because the truth of the matter is, there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to find this video right now in the intended time and moment. They're going to find this video. And it's going to go in one ear, come out the other, and they're going to remain unfazed as if they never found it. Number one, you got to make a decision to stop living in your past. Ooh, I know I done shook somebody up. Well, you tell me not to live in my past, Gerald, but that is what I base my ideologies and the way I think off of my past. But if it does not suit you, if it does not motivate you to be the best you, why are you giving the greatest resource you'll ever have in this body for free? I'll do one better. If you know from whence you came and the struggles that came, which, let's be honest, you ain't there. You're not there, but you are using those experiences to dictate the way you think today. Do you realize subconsciously everything that you went through and the people that were connected to that experience? You basically went through it for nothing. It was in vain. You may be thinking, well, Gerald, you know what? I really, really want nothing more than to feel loved. I want my mate to be released or revealed to me. I won't mess it up this time. I'll be faithful. I'll be committed. I'll be vulnerable. You realize I've echoed this for almost 6 years. 50% of you enjoy just hearing you say that. And the other 50% are rolling their sleeves up, grounding their feet, and they're going within themselves. And guess what? Your ideologies, the philosophy of what makes your perception, they're being put in a check and balance position. And only you know this. Only you. How about you make this the day that you finally stop holding your breath, waiting for the shoe to drop, and forgive yourself. But I understand there's going to be some people that are going to say, well, Gerald, they did me wrong. They did me low down. They abused me. They violated my trust. You know who was the number one culprit in that matter? See, until you can be comfortable, and being uncomfortable, can the change come? Because until you decide to be uncomfortable, to look at what does not work, every tear that drops, every broken promise, you basically have conveyed through your actions, it's okay. May I have some more? But heed the word of a brother. If you're waiting on bated breath to watch the demise of those who have transgressed you, let me tell you something. You'll be cheating your life and you won't see it coming. You know why you won't see it coming? Because you'll be living it. And see, sometimes, first of all, I got to throw the spiritual in here. You do understand that no matter what you went through, God didn't put all of it on you to bear. Sometimes he'll let you be right there, but you'll be unscathed. You know why? Because all the other examples that get you to say, this ain't what I need, player, to finally get you to hone into what mattered most, they didn't work. And you know I'm telling you the truth. Because think back when you had somebody when you least expected it, because that's how God does. Told you, gave you validation for the clarity of what you was feeling in your heart. But yet, you know what? You still got people still to this day to not call it for what it is. You are a spiritual being first. If you wasn't a spiritual being to begin with, then how, well, you want to explain why you feel the disappointments? That's your emotions, Gerald. That's why we react physically, intellectually. That's how we understand. But guess what? The spiritual. Because if that was the case, the end result is this. You see it all the time. You know, those people say, I was numb. I was frozen. But you never hear them say, you know what, I just didn't care about my life. I said F it. And I was selfish and I didn't care about who and what was going to be the price. You never hear those people tell you that. You never will hear it. And yes, I understand there are going to be some people that emotionally cut you deep. Cut you deep. Cut you real deep. And you took this mindset of, well, you know what? You caught me slipping this time. I'll never let you do that again. But what'd you do? You took on the traits and the behaviors of the person that transgressed against you. And you lowballed it. You just said more or less, well, if I can't beat them, join them. Well, maybe you wasn't supposed to join them to begin with. I'm saying this to you out of love. I don't have to live your life. But what I do know is you deserve to be happy. Some of y'all haven't even seen an example of happiness. And the only time you get to see what true joy is, you got to go back down memory lane now, don't you? In the age of innocence. But if you're going to go down that road of your innocence, look deep. Take in what you see. Because you know what you'll see looking back? Is that little boy, that little girl with endless possibilities. But what you won't see will be a smile. You'll see a look of disdain and frustration because that person is who you owe it to. Nobody else. That person. The person that you are trying to use the world to distract yourself from. Maybe that's why you can't put that bottle down. Maybe that's the reason why you convinced yourself that on Friday, I'm going to get toe up. I'm going to go to cloud 9 like the Temptations wrote about. But what you don't realize is you can't live up there. And the challenges, the distractions, they're going to be there waiting on you when you sober up. But you know what's not going to be there when you sober up? Literally, your money's going to be funny. And the attitudes of those who you find comfort being around, they ain't going to be there either. Who am I talking to? You feeling like you're ATM these days, ain't you? Or Uber. You think you're an Uber, ain't getting paid for it because you are the party planner. And this is how you can tell, because you can't have a decent conversation with these people. They won't even give you 5 seconds to pick up the phone. Hey, how you been? What's going on? Oh, I'm doing this, yada, yada, yada. Well, you know what? I was just thinking about you. All right. Can't get that. Can't get it. But you settle for, oh, it's 3:30 in the morning. Hey, what you doing? Or, hey, I'm hungry. Mind you, you start your day just like everybody else. But they only give you that much decency. Not only to be considerate on how you planned your day or your night, that right there should be a wake up call for somebody. They ain't your friends. But what have I always tried to convey to you? An opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. What is required is that you have the courage to see it. Because until you decide to see it, you have no reason to complain. You can opt out. Because the bond is nothing but a spiritual contract. And depending on the lesson, it may be nothing but a bona fide soul tie. You see it all the time. Person is connected to someone so intensely that they walk, talk, dress, act just like the person that they're seeing. That person does not see their value or their self-worth. And if you're basing your self-worth off of worldly effects, you're cheating yourself. You don't think so? You ask those people that are dealing with the reality of the effects of the hurricanes. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Florida, Texas, Louisiana. You ask those people that are dealing with the effects of the wildfires in Santa Rosa, California. Did you actually think in a million years that they would be in the position that they're in? No. But this is an actual example for those to learn. You learn. That's where insight comes from, family. So you ain't got to go through it. But I see it for something else. Those who are last will be made first, and those who are first will be made last. And all things that are done in the dark, if they're not blessed, they will crumble. I tell everybody y'all remember when I used to drop this in your ear hole? Man, everything made with man's hands is temporary, because man will never be able to master forever. Only God does that. That's why you see it always play out. 1 minute they up on top, the minute they down. But guess what? The people that was on top, they're doing this. Where are they? Where are my friends? Because the truth is, now you see what the connection was to begin with. So stop cheating yourself. But let me tell you something, Queen, because you know I love you. You know I love you. And you can take it any way you want, because I ain't got to live your life. But if you want that happy ever after, I'm not talking about the illusion you see on TV because that's fake. Truly emotional safety. That's what you all want. That's what everybody wants, to feel emotionally safe. Because, see, when you feel emotionally safe, guess what? You can be yourself. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to worry about what's coming out of your mouth or what you did in your past. Because, let's call it, because let's be real. Opportunist loves when you does not see your value, because all those little secrets, all those little lies, that ain't nothing but a playbook to extort you. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? You tired of emotionally feeling hijacked? Are you tired? Oh, you know this. Stop looking for your mate. Queen, I don't care how they try to sugarcoat it, how they try to sway, manipulate. Because guess what? Until you decide to feel emotionally safe, your money won't. Don't you realize that? Every time that you're not where you need to be, guess what do? You go spend money. They know that too. Mm-hmm. And they make billions of dollars off of your emotional state. And yes, King, you ain't out of the woods, because guess what? As long as you keep playing that game, you're going to be financing that too. That's why we've gotten to an era where I never thought in a million years, but that's what history is about. You have women that have convinced themselves through the tutelage of the development of their upbringing, as well as the influence of the people that they find comfort in, to convince them. I just use what I got to get what I need. So you willfully are putting a price tag over your happiness. Well, Gerald, I don't want to be broke. I want to have this, I want to have that. But are you sacrificing? Is there an application in place so that can be your template to your reward? Your reward is nothing but your validation of who you are. But you know what happens with that validation? If you look, that's nothing but the foundation that you stand upon. Can you stand on it? Because your character is defined by that. Your intellect is molded from that. Your self-worth is defined by that. If you turn around and basing it off of what's found in your closet, what's found between your legs, you'll be sadly disappointed, because those brand new things have no value until you decide to buy them. And the irony of that is this: the same thing that it costs to make it is nothing but a fraction of what you're going to have to pay back. Oh, I paid $1,000, but really it only cost them less than $100 to make. Business 101. But those putting in the work will take heed of that. They will prepare. They will sacrifice their time. And they will find safety in that. Why? Because it's authentic. It's you. The real question is why you feel that you don't deserve that. You say, well, Gerald, the truth of the matter is, I just want to go through life on somebody else's dime. Then you have no right to complain, because the person's dime that you're going to be riding on is going to treat you just like everything they possess with that dime. Mhm. And as you mature, as you get older, guess what happens? Value depreciates. There'll always be someone that will test your longevity. Oh yes. Come on now. Come on, Kings. Why do you think she don't like the fact that you want to go out? Because she knows the truth. And she also knows the same tactics to win your attention is going to be the same ploy that's going to be set, waiting for you to be snagged. Why don't you see that? So, you blink twice, family. We'll be ringing in 2018. You got a game plan? You should be where you are now. You should already have a blueprint for half the year already. But most people won't because they like living for today and not planning for tomorrow. And you know what happens? The people that already planned are going to benefit for the people that are living today. You know why? Because they've given themselves room to adapt, adjust, and persevere. So as I put that title up there, you got to make a decision. You ready to break off those chains? Let's let's even go a little deeper. Y'all remember that video that uh Outkast did, Caroline? Y'all remember that song, right? Caroline? And there was a scene where Cat Williams got the girl, and what came out of his mouth? Take 1 second. Look at your past. Embrace your future. Meanwhile, the, the big boy and Andre 3000 was distracted over pride and ego. And what did they leave with? Delay, confusion. But I ain't got to tell you that. But I hope you're listening. I hope you listening. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Master today. That's all it takes. You woke up today. What were the things you need to do today? Some of y'all already know. You've been putting this off for 6 months. Some of y'all have actually convinced yourself, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow ain't coming. Because you've been convincing yourself with that same line for over a year. And I'm not throwing stones at you because I too had that mindset. I did. But then I realized I had to love myself more. And the price for that was I had to say goodbye to a lot of people. Had to. Wasn't no ill will. I just realized that you're got to grow. And you can't grow unless you allow yourself to let go. So while you waiting for Tommy to shoot his shot, until you decide to stop snipping up Sarah's skirt because she's laughing at you every time that you don't decide to see your value, the games are going to continue. They are. And when you decide to decide to stop playing these games, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be somebody else waiting to step right on in. Don't get mad. Be grateful. Focus on what matters most. And let me throw this out too, because I know somebody has this delusion, and I'm gonna speak on it, and I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna shut this down. All right. You always hear people say this, especially in the female community. Why can't I find a man? What is it that she got that I don't have? What do I need to do? Let's do this in reverse. What do you need to do? You need to stop running from yourself, which means you have to invest in you. But if you do it in reverse, where you're thinking that the outer is all that's required, that's only going to carry you but so far. And you already know that because you got some friends. The time is not on their side. Time has not been compassionate, and you see it. You see it right here. And they're weary. And in turn, you hear it. They're bitter. But what you don't hear is this: accountability. You'll never hear someone say, well, you know what? I was reckless. You know what? I should have known better. You know what? I knew what I was getting into to a certain point, but then I wasn't prepared. You're not gonna find ownership. You won't. Those people will keep that pride and ego intact. But you know what they won't have? They won't have time. So you got to go back to one. You got to go back to that little girl. You got to go back to that first disappointment. Yeah, that one. You got to go back, and then one by one, take accountability for your part in it. Remember, nobody can make you do nothing you don't want to do. Why is there a disconnect on that? And I know somebody will say, well, Gerald, well, if that's the case, well, Bobby raped me. Okay, if Bobby raped you, why isn't Bobby in jail? Hmm? 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 There's follow through. There's a follow through. Well, he said that we can watch movies, and he was gonna cook, and we were just gonna just hang out. Did he not? Did he not? But the thing is, you made a decision before you left where you find comfort to find confusion. We've even gotten to a point literally in society that you don't even have to ask certain questions. It's obvious. I ain't talked to you all week, but that phone rings and it's dark 30 and it's never in public. There's always a hotel room. There's always somewhere where you don't have a support system, only to try to analyze and psychoanalyze yourself every time you go home. I should have never done that. I should have never done it. But you already knew these questions before you left. Before you left. King, you ain't far from it. We could flip that scenario. I can't believe she got pregnant on me. Why ain't wear a condom, dog? Because you do, Monday, right now, somebody's, it's hitting them. They got an STD. Mm. And you're shocked. Why are you shocked? Why? You already saw her mentality and you preyed upon it. Because you knew, look, I can dunk my dipstick and she's just going to go for the ride. Who's getting rolled now? Do you actually think that that's a learned behavior instantly done? No, there was somebody before you. But yet, you still had the opportunity to ask questions. Why people don't ask questions? It's because they're afraid to know the truth. What is it that she has that I don't? Or you could say he, because that's an inner dynamic for the genders anyway. It doesn't matter, male or female. The application. What I mean by the application is this. You got people doing a whole lot of this. Got a whole lot to say about someone, right? But you ain't doing none of that. You ain't doing none of it. But doing the opposite. And you wonder why your state of mind is the way it is. You wonder why you have a bitter disposition. You wonder why you feel insecure because you have no application. For example, I love this one. I see this a lot. A lot of the sisters. You always hear somebody say this. These white girls are taking our men, or non-minorities are taking our men. Let me ask you this. How long are you going to run that line? Because what you don't see is this. When's the last time you've been in a fitness environment? When's the last time you seen it? When's the last time you stepped in a gym? When's the last time you just stepped out of your where you call home and just went for a walk? How about your parks? What do you see? You don't see a lot of us out there. You don't. And in turn, you see everybody else. But here's the thing that we keep overlooking is this. They paying dues. What used to be a bona fide genetic trait for our community ain't the case nowadays. It is the opposite. Then we hear this. Well, Drew, I ain't gonna sweat up my hair. I ain't doing it. You don't understand how long it takes for me to get my hair prepared. That's not true. That's not true at all. I'm actually very empathetic for any woman to make the sacrifice to style her hair. I would be a hypocrite not to. For those who've been riding with me, you already know where I'm going because some of y'all saw day one. I deliberately grew my hair down to my shoulders. It wasn't fun. There were many days I wanted to just cut it off because I was frustrated. But that was the greatest lesson I ever learned as a man. It taught me to appreciate the woman, to see the uniqueness in the woman, to treasure the woman. But it matters not if she don't treasure herself. And for those who might not understand what I'm going at, for somebody that you got relationship issues and you know it is, and you know what you deserve, but you don't understand how to get it going, my gift to you is this. Go in my catalog. Now I've got two videos, one for the men and for the women. Top 10 signs you have a good woman. Top 10 signs you have a good man. And if that person fits that descriptor, that's a validation that you're doing something right. But it is also clarity of what you need if they don't. You don't need no permission to put the smile back on your face. Like the biggest illusion going on right now in the social community and socially, a lot of women believe that as long as her sex game is on point, that's all she has to do. So you're trying to learn all the tricks that you can because you actually believe that that's going to keep him home. You actually believe that because your girlfriend's told you that, right? That doesn't make a person faithful. There's a lot of people that, from the exterior, financially, socially, individually, have convinced you they got it all together, only to be shocked when it falls apart. But you know what these people don't have? They don't have a true relationship with who they are. They have a perception of what is demanded. You know why? Because they don't know who the hell they are. They don't have a relationship with God, first of all. So guess what? They can't find safety in their mate. That's why they try so hard to convince everybody, well, you know what? You don't need to be committed. You can date whoever you want. You do whatever you want. It's your DNA. It's your mortality. But don't be surprised when that doctor says, um, you got your copay? You do? Okay, well, I don't wish bad on anybody. But until you decide to put value in your temple, it can't stand. It will deteriorate. That's why you got so many people with neurological ailments. And here's a kicker on that one too, and I'm gonna shut up. A lot of those neurological ailments can be combated if you change the way that you live your life. Change what you eat. Return back to one. Holistic is the way to go. Because even God told man, everything comes from the land. Everything you need is found. But do we listen? Nope. We want synthetics. We want to do things our way. Hold that thought, family. I'm about to bring this home. Appreciate it, family. So we're gonna bring this home. Until you decide to acknowledge what is a lie, can you break that chain? Because you live in a lie. So guess what? The pain of that lie will sustain until you acknowledge it is a lie. That's why you hear, I've always conveyed, we are what we attract, family. We are. So if you're dealing with people that want to cheat, it's because you cheating. If you can't find emotional safety in your environment, may it be your family dynamic or the people that you decide to lay your head next to, it's because you don't find emotional safety within yourself. Nope. It does not matter what you got in your pocket, what's found in between your legs, or what you look like. Because until you acknowledge that little boy, that little girl that is inside your spirit waiting, you're doing just like this. Oh, you going over there again? You know what happened every time we go over there. Boy, what do? You stuff that back, right? You stuff that emotion back. And you have actually made a concession. Well, you know what? I know this person don't respect me, but they can pay my bills. Don't get mad when they treat you like the Jezebel. Don't be mad when they just say, hey, guess what? This ain't gonna work. Don't be mad when you don't get that ring that you think you deserve. Or worse, they don't protect your heart. How about change your name? You think because you're swinging off the chandeliers, that's gonna keep him? That's gonna because you're throwing it down, that's gonna keep her? Nah, nah. All you're doing is biding time for the one to be revealed. So, what is it that he's doing that I ain't doing? Gerald, I'm gonna tell you what you're not doing. You hating. You ain't hating them. You hating you. And so guess what? Meanwhile, those people have embraced who they are. They have find comfort in who they are. And guess what they're doing? They're breaking off the rough edges. And let me be honest. Let me make this perfectly clear, King, because I got a feeling that somebody saying, dog, I got a knot that will choke a horse. And I got money like that. But guess what? You'll never have her heart. You will never have her heart. Mm-mm. And guess what she ain't going to tell you? You know that guy that you call a square, you mock every time she sees him. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime she's able to be in the midst of this person, it could be just an image. It could be somebody that got the videos or someone they actually know directly. And you're like, well, why are you watching him? Why are you watching her? Because they're watching this person become the diamond that they are within. So meanwhile, while you keep hanging with your circle and say, well, you know what? I'm not gonna invest in my body. Don't complain when the doctor turn around and say, well, I need to put you on these scripts right here, and you might need some surgery right, because that's gonna be in your future. You do understand the things you do today set up who you're gonna be if you're blessed to be older. Where you think those patients come from? It's from the actions of what you did in your 20s, in your 30s, and you in your 50s and your 60s. And you're like, I don't understand. I don't understand how this happened. You know exactly what happened. But guess what? You can turn that around when you decide to stop running. You can turn that around when you decide to love yourself. You can turn that around and open the door of what you truly deserve when you seek within yourself. Within yourself. And yes, let me tell you something, King. Real talk, she wants you to be the same way when you met. I know she's telling you, no, I'm gonna love you forever. Listen, man, no woman wants a guy that ain't taking care of his temple, his body. I know women, they'll tell you, no, I love you forever. Listen, why you think your intimacy is the way it is? Hmm? Because you ain't taking care of you. You think those little synthetics is gonna get the job done? The more you take care of your body, it's natural. It's spiritual too. But I ain't got to tell you that. Keep doing what you've been doing, but don't complain. I just know different. You deserve to have the life that you rightfully are. But the question is, when are you going to claim it? And yes, Queen, what did I tell you? Stop running to these practitioners that say, yeah, I got this little pill for you. Or I can nip and tuck that. You want your body to what you dream it? Change to what you eat, what you put in it. Start drinking your water. Start resting. That means put the cell phone down. Put that laptop up. It'll be there. And then finally have the courage. Get your body as you know it is, or it should be. Because I'm not gonna. I got to correct myself because I don't want people to think, well, you're entitled to how you feel. But truth of the matter is, a lot of sisters, a lot of women are not taking care of themselves because of their distracted of their what's going on up here. So if your mind is not right, it's a reflection of what your physical form is about. And if you think that's all that's needed is the cushion behind you, you'll never be prepared for what's in front of you or what's going to come. But I told y'all that a couple years ago, didn't I tell you? I told you, and the media ain't gonna talk about it. One of the biggest problems for women between the ages of 20 and 46 is infertility. Who am I talking to? You dreaming about having a baby, huh? I'm not making light of that. But I'm telling the truth. You ready, you feel you're ready to be a mother. Well, But I hate to tell you this, that's not going to come to pass until you decide to be that little girl within you first. And truth be told, until you just stop trying to find your man. No, haven't you noticed when you go find your man, you always find Mr. Right now, not Mr. Right? You know why, right? Because Mr. Right now is there to distract you and keep you stuck. Mr. Right is your forever. But he's not going to come to you till you go to you. So you're going to let another month slip by. And I got it because most women don't want to admit that they're wrong to themselves. You think, oh, I can just do this. It'll be okay. Well, you tell your emotions that next time you feel insecure. You tell yourself that. And when you're ready, put that work in. Put it in. And just know, right now, treat your life like you're on a highway in rush hour traffic and you got to go through a tunnel. I said I wasn't going to talk this long, but I know somebody needs to hear this. Stay committed to the direction. And when it's time, all things will be revealed and fall as it should. Do not be afraid of that. That is nothing but validation that you're going correctly. And guess what? When that tunnel comes, that could be your fear. Keep moving. Stay progressive. And you know what? That application is fortified. And guess what? The payoff is the real you, maybe the new you. The world finally beholds. But guess what's gonna happen? You gotta cut them people loose because they holding you back from yourself. But if your state of mind is not correct and you think that, well, I'm just gonna go in the gym and get right and tight so I can show Tony that I'm the best thing he ever had. He messed up. You playing yourself. You know why? Because Tony never gave a damn about you to begin with. Otherwise, he would have made sure. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your word. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Your life is not a reality TV. Your life is a validation. If anything, the person that needs the validation more is the person within inside you. Where you going? Stay grounded.